Hey everyone, once more it's Claymore, and today I want to talk about the raid gear. Raid gear specifically from the Garden of Salvation, because they have been given the Arrivals stamp of approval. Basically, that just means that the weapons like False Promise or Fallen Guillotine, they're going to have the same light level, same max light level as those weapons. That means we're going to be able to use these raid weapons for another year. So if you have a nice roll in the vault, you have even a god roll, you're probably set for a year. However, if you are going through the raids now for powerful pinnacle gear, maybe you want to keep your eye out for a certain role, I have some suggestions for you and some fancy reasons why, because there might not be what you're expecting. Down below in the description, I am going to have a link from Testify on Reddit, and he has a whole list of weapons that are going to be able to be viable starting next season. So if you want to go and look at it yourself, then go ahead. I'm going to be using this as a base ground of what we need to be looking for inside the raids. Let's talk pulse rifles, specifically Sacred Providence. Biggest reason I have for getting this is because it's going to be the only viable aggressive 4-burst pulse rifle when going into the expansion. I remember going to PvP and getting blasted by Go Figure, Blast Furnace, and that was the meta for a little bit. Now, Sacred Providence is going to be the only 4-burst around. If that's what you like using in PvP, I would say bring this up. If you're going to be using it in comp, if you're going to be using it in trials, and you just like the feeling of a 4-burst rifle, Sacred Providence might be what you want. And it still gets some pretty good perks on it. Arrowhead Break, Chamber Compensator, Ricochet rounds, high caliber rounds. I technically like the high cal rounds. I like being able to shoot people and they're not being able to shoot me back because those 4-bursts hit hard, especially with high cal rounds. It also can get rapid hit. Even with the nerf, it's still okay. I'd rather have like Outlaw than for its last line of perks, Kill Clip, Snapshot Sights, or Head Seeker. Personally, I would go after Snapshot Sights. Let's talk about Ancient Gospel, more specifically it with Dragonfly. It's a 140, it's an energy solar hand cannon. And there's something about Dragonfly and hand cannons that when you get that snappy headshot, especially in PvE, it feels so good. So if you want something that makes you think of Weekend Vigil with Dragonfly and just gives you sweet memories, it's either going to be Ancient Gospel or a Jack Queen King. And if you can't get your hands on that, you have some raids to do for Ancient Gospel. Some of the perks you get for it: Small Bore, Chamber Compensator, Rifling. I'm going to go for Stability, so I'm going to say Steady Rounds for the second perk. Stability is a little bit better now on hand cannons than before. Then we can go for Rapid Hit, Outlaw for PvE. If you're going for a PvP role, I mean, there's a bunch of other weapons that you can use for a hand cannon for this. But if you're going to use Ancient Gospel, I have the Storm. And then for that last perk, of course, we get that snazzy Dragonfly. Or you can even try and run Swashbuckler on. This next one is a weird one to bring up because there's a ton of snipers that are 140s that are coming to the next expansion that are probably better than this one now. And the one I'm talking about is Omniscient Eye. And I'm probably going to be messing up that name the whole time. So I might just call it Mr. Eye. You know what? We're going to call it Mr. Eye. Biggest reason why I'm bringing this up is because this is the closest thing to Revoker that people will have starting the expansion because it comes with Mulligan. Now, it's not as good as Reversal, that it's any missed shot will go back into the magazine. However, it's about a 20% chance, and you will be the only one with Mulligan. So, if you're in trials and you're getting sniped at and you miss a shot, you have a 1 out of 5 chance to get that bullet back. That's one bullet that they won't be expecting from you, especially with Revoker being out of the picture. So, if you're like me and like to run things that are faster than the aggressive snipers, Mr. Eye right here might be it for you. Comes with Fluted Barrel, Small Bore, there's Tactical Mag, Flared Magwell, and of course you got to get that Mulligan on there and Snapshot Sights. If you're not going for this role, there's plenty of other snipers you can get instead for PvE or PvP. Basically, what I want Omniscient Eye for is for those who are a little too attached to Revoker and they need a little bit of weaning off it. This might be what you or they are looking for. The last one we're going to talk about is Reckless Oracle. It's the 720 RPM Void Energy Auto Rifle. Biggest reason I'm bringing this up is because Recluse just got its final nail in the coffin with the nerf to Feeding Frenzy. By the time you kill an enemy, even if it's 1 or 2 enemies and you reload, Master of Arms is probably already being cancelled out. So only time I use Recluse anymore is for the anti-barrier rounds or for Void weapons. Reckless Oracle does both these things for me oh so well. Other reason is because of Outlaw, Demolitionist, and the gun just feels oh so satisfying. It feels like it never runs out of ammo. Demolitionist and Oppressive Darkness on the season. I'm able to go and throw a grenade and just instantly reload it. It's non-stop fun. some of the perks. I think any barrel will be fine, but if you could focus on stability, especially if you're on controller, that'd be great. Mouse and keyboard, I don't think you have to worry about stability as much. In the next slot, we have high caliber rounds, ricochet, armor piercing. In the third slot, we have outlaw. I would say use that for PvP or PvE. And for the last slot, we have kill clip and demolitionist. If you already have a gnawing hunger, you're probably already set because both of these are void. Gnawing hunger and 600s are killing it right now. But if you want to have 720, you like the feelings of 720s, reckless oracle is pretty sweet. And I 100% love it. I'm using that over gnawing hunger all the time. And that will be the conclusion for the weapons. I think that'll be helpful in the expansion. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you had any suggestions or any questions, throw them down below. And I will go and see you guys in the next one.